All right. Sounds great. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. I'm not sure if we have any other people that are supposed to be getting here, but we'll go ahead and get the ball rolling. So today we're going to be discussing personal branding. Now, personal branding is one of the huge things that I love to get into because it's kind of one of those things that really makes your marketing fun and really allows you to differentiate yourself from your competition. So if you look in your binders, what we've got provided to you today are two worksheets, essentially. One covers some content for the course that you'll be able to look over and kind of as we go over the mentoring session. And then there's another one that's called 7 Personal Power Poses. It's got some pictures of my beautiful mug there. And we're going to be using some of that to discuss ways that you can market your business as well.
I must have got the different one. I've got your regular mug.
You got my regular mug?
Got your beautiful mug.
Oh, well, I suppose you'll have to make do then. So, I want to start off with a quote from George Bernard Shaw that says, "Life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself." And I really think that that's a lot about what personal branding is essentially creating a personal brand and really creating yourself. I remember there was a time in my life where, for instance, I was terrified of speaking. But to get to the path and things that I know, crazy.
I know.
But to get to the path and do the things that I wanted to in life, I had to learn that skill set. And so I pressed myself to learn that skill set and to become comfortable speaking in front of other people and doing that on a regular basis. And so that kind of informs a large part of the package that I put forth to the public, so to speak. And so in this session, we're going to be sharing with you, you'll also notice that there are 2 discs here, and in there there'll be a great 10 Personal Power Branding Secrets ebook. That's a great little thing. You should look over that. It's got some great ideas for it. Paint.net. A lot of what I'm going to recommend is essentially having photographs taken of yourself that can then be photoshopped, edited, and placed into your marketing materials. So use of Photoshop is useful, and I have a free copy of Paint.net, which is a Photoshop clone. For those that may want to take a look at that. Then you've got your personal power poses, and then a DVD here. The DVD has how to create a Facebook page, group, online signature. These are different items. They might not seem so connected at first, but these are different things that you can do to assist you in your personal power branding work. And so that is available to you to look over afterwards and to keep kind of exploring the topic further on your own. So, essentially, how do you build a personal power brand? Whether or not you know it, you're already doing it. Just the fact that you're out there in the world doing what you do, you're working on building your brand. So if you're going to be out there doing it anyways, you might as well try and figure out how to do it effectively. Now, the big key to this is to be authentic. A lot of the things that I do in my marketing, they're very much me and drawn towards my personality. And I think that the more personality you can inject into your marketing, the better it's going to be received by other people. I mean, let's face it, today people are just bombarded by marketing messages, thousands and thousands a day, all the time. All the time.
With no personality at all.
Exactly. You've got this constant list, this run of Me Too's in almost every industry. And I'm sure you know, Bruce. I mean, you're, as I recall, aren't you one of the few actually licensed professional photographers in the Springs?
Well, there is no. I know what you're trying to say. No, I am not currently certified, but I was one of the first 10 in the state to become certified.
Okay, there you go. There you go. And so, and I know in your industry you were talking to me about how there's a lot of Me Too people out there, point and shoot, that you have to kind of compete with, so to speak.
Which is why I'm teaching them rather than trying to compete with them.
Exactly, exactly. So, getting professional photographs done is a huge part. So if you take a look at the personal power poses I've got here, there's 7 poses. These come to me. Part of this was invented by me. Other parts of this, I was introduced to personal branding by a guru, marketing guru by the name of Joel Bauer. And amazing, phenomenal man. If you ever get a chance to sit down and read some of his books or view some of his audio cassettes, or DVDs, he's just really on top of the personal branding stuff. And so the key here is Joel Bauer. B-A-U-E-R, Joel. Man I'd like to call a friend. An amazing, amazing man. And so these different poses are designed to have psychological impact. So for instance, on Check This Out, where I'm holding the sign, the purpose of that is to have you Photoshop in whatever you want to say on that sign. So what she actually did was she photographed me holding a blank sign. All these photographs were taken on a white backdrop.
Cool.
Yeah, see, and now what can you do with that then? You know, I've put testimonials on it and had it on my testimonial DVD. One of my big things is don't be an advertising victim. And so I have that on the sign. And so you can change the sign to say whatever you want it to be that would be useful for your business. So, you can change yours to say Furnace World and have the heart on it. Speaking of which, Furnace World does great personal branding as well. I mean, look at his name tag, Mark's name tag there. They've got the heart on there, furnace heating and air conditioning with the heart. And there's also the consistency throughout the materials of the color on. And I think I even have some of your materials with me. That package that you give out is completely consistent with that as well. Yep, got it right here. I'm going to send that around real quick. But you'll see how all of that goes together. There's a consistent color to it, red, black, white. And you notice it's the exact same thing that's the color of his name tag. And that type of thing allows you to really tie together a cohesive message. And so a lot of these pictures are designed to be photoshopped, and they were taken with a white background to make it easy to Photoshop them. Now, if you look at level with me, you can see how I've got my hands like that. You can Photoshop me holding something now into that as well. That's just me. That's a favorite pose I like to use. That's on my Facebook and other things. On the next page, on taking action, you'll see, once again, I've got my hand in a very specific way, so you can Photoshop me holding things. And then this, I am confident, that is a very, very powerful pose. To get that pose, the photographer had to stand on top of a 7-foot ladder on the top of it, at the very top of it, shooting me downward to get that very specific angle.
You just need a little stool for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that might be the case, but it was definitely a difficult shot to get, but it was definitely worth it, because that's going to be on my new business card. That is my Facebook photo. That is everywhere. And so one thing I might also point out to you, Bruce, is the photographer here in our group, that putting together a type of package that you could sell to your clients or suggest that your students sell along that nature would be very valuable, because this type of photoshopping, you can sell the whole thing as a package, 7 images, photoshopped and done. And that's an idea I came up with while I was going over this material that I thought I would just throw in there and mention for you. So we want a visual hook. In my case, it's the afro. Other people I've seen, in my case, it's also the suit. Like, how would you feel if I showed up in slacks?
Oh, yeah. It'd be shocking.
Yeah. And I mean, very few, after the PepNet barbecue, now PepNet has seen me out of my normal clothing. And of course, Mark has. But, wearing my Bronco jersey, that's me. But that was a barbecue, that was a social function, so I didn't wear my suit on one of the very, very rare occasions. And so the suit, the hair, the colors, green and black.
I love the green.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, why did I choose green? Well, it's my favorite color. But more importantly, green, tying it into the wealth attraction we were discussing, green is a color of wealth, prosperity, nature.
Tells people to go.
There you go. Exactly. Tells
people to go. Green does. And green is a very powerful. It's actually a color I'm integrating in my branding. I'm coming up with a new logo. Michelle and I are working on it. We're sending cards now, so it'll be different, and I'm going to be bringing on some new products. So this is incredibly helpful to me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And really, it's the type of thing that any business can incorporate to really just set them apart. Because that's what this is about. Because there's just so many people out there, you have to get set apart from the herd. And so, cigar, there's another gentleman that does a suit like I wear with a bow tie and a cigar. He sells cigars, and that's his personal branding. So when you do these things, you want to build together a sort of toolkit. Unfortunately, I didn't have a shock and awe package with me that I was going to bring, but my shock and awe package incorporates colors and pictures, these pictures, across everything in it. So my special report has my face on it. My business card has my face on it. My testimonial video has my face on it. Everything has my face on it. And so people identify with people, not logos. And so while a logo is, of course, an important part of your marketing, but identifying and attaching your brand to your face is essential, essentially. So you really got to keep that in mind when moving forward with these things. Now, what are the benefits of it? As I mentioned, it makes you unique. It's fun. Any type of marketing that you do is fun, because the worst sin in marketing is to be boring. We cannot be boring. Cannot be boring. Attraction. When you're attracting customers, instead of trying to sell customers, it becomes dramatically easier. And so you can also get people gossiping and talking about you as well. And some of the things that I'm talking about are coming straight off of my own lecture notes, and not everything is provided on the information I gave you, but that's also why we record this information as well. So ultimately you're going to have to buy into your own personal brand yourself. And until that happens, you're not going to be able to put forth, because you got to be authentic with this. You can't just be out there trying to be someone that you're really not. And I think that that's what this really is about, is helping people to connect with you as a person and then use your services eventually. And so I think if you go in there with the hard sell, and there are many people that do that, you know, and there are some people that want to be known for that, and that's fine. But for me, I really like to make my marketing about being fun. So a word about color theory. I was reading an interesting article about that, how our lives are ruled by red and blue. Red is a agitative color. Did you know that, for instance, if you look at red before you take a test, you'll score higher on an IQ test?
Wow.
If you wear a red jersey versus a blue jersey in a football game, you will be more intimidating to your opponents. If you wear a blue jersey or a blue shirt, you will have more of a calming effect on somebody. Green is the color of nature. Pink is a very powerful color. If you're in a sales situation with me and you see me wearing pink, watch out. I wear pink when I want to close. And I do that very intentionally. If you wear pink, it displays that you're very comfortable with, well, quite frankly, with a lot of different issues. And I mean, I like really pink, like this type of tie, but pink, you know, really bright stuff. And I've even known my mentor, Dan Kennedy, he actually at times, when he was selling to women's groups, he would wear an entirely pink suit, complete with patent leather pink shoes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see Wallace in that.
Yeah, buddy.
So color theory is huge here. And I wear different colors based on what I want to portray. For instance, when I'm meeting with a female client for the first time or a female prospect, I'll wear purple. Almost always do I get a compliment on the purple that I wear. It's my girlfriend's favorite color. It's many women's favorite color. It's just they identify with the color. And so the color that you choose is very, very important to your branding. And so, for instance, and I'll pass it on, people are doing this in our group. And, you know, Furnace World, they've got that going on with the different colors that they're using. And I'm going to send this around. Here's, you should be familiar with Vicki Wallace's business card. I'll send one of those around to you. And you see how she's actually incorporating the coloration as well, the green coloring, and she's intentionally doing the personal branding to rebrand away from affordable printing and budget to print. So she's got the black and the green. She's got the QR code colored to green as well. And so there's a lot of really cool things you can do with that. And so,
Do you have any references for authors that write about color? You know, like a reference tool for the power in colors?
There's a lot of information on
there is,
color.
definitely. Thank you, Mark. I don't personally, the information that I have is kind of gathered from speeches and different sources. What I can tell you, though, you will find a lot of discussion about color theory in art books.
Okay.
I learned some of this from my brother, who's an oil painter. So if you look into the art section, color theory is typically an art topic. So you can find a lot of good stuff on that there. And I'd suggest taking a real, look at that before deciding on your colors and such. I think you've got great use too, because you've got your logo, that's the red and white, and then you've got your red T-shirt, and the logo fits clearly with the Carpet MD. And I think there's a lot of potential to take that even further with yours as well. So, and I noticed that you've also incorporated that more with your changing it from prescription from clean carpets to prescription for healthy carpets. Right. I noticed that today, actually. And so words do really matter when you're talking about this. And so for me, for instance, how do I incorporate it? Big hair, big ideas. You can get a hold of me at big hair, big ideas at AfroMarketing.net. My business, AfroMarketing. The services that I create, Afro blog, Afro newsletter, Afro this, Afro that. It's all about tying that all together and making people remember me. And so when you do this personal branding, it works great on social media as well, for instance, because social media now, it's all about relationships, really. It really is. Did you have a question, Bruce?
Do you consider yourself qualified to advise someone like myself, and I'm not talking about trying to do that now, on appropriate colors for their industry, for their direction in life?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily choose color by that prerogative. Okay. My point would be to look at color as what is it that will appeal to your target market. So, for instance, me in green, I'm in marketing. My job is to put profit in your pocket, to get a measurable return on investment. I'm about making money for you. So it makes total sense for me to go with green. Now, there's a lot of things that are associated with green, like prosperity and all these other things. So that, yeah, exactly, and that goes along with it. But certainly I'd be happy, and if we'd like to open up a discussion on what colors might be interesting or useful, I'd be more than happy to. Because this doesn't really need to be me up here talking the whole time. It's pretty much, whatever level of involvement people would like to have.
Well, since I'm such a self-serving SO now,
Yeah.
were you agreeing with me? Okay, I'm trying to get into where I can do online marketing, and Michael and I have discussed this. He's been very helpful, by the way. It'd be online marketing of products, so I don't have to be there. I want to leverage myself. I've got so many years of experience, and I feel like I've got something to share. Others seem to agree with me. What I've been thinking is, for instance, think of the coffee cup, a black coffee cup with gold lettering, obedience training for your camera. And yes, I've been able to play around with those words quite effectively. But that being my market, photographers, people that love photography, mostly that would be the hobbyists. Okay, so that's who I'm aiming at.
I think it's a fabulous, fabulous target market. And I'll tell you why. Because I think that because of our technology, we have everything's gone digital. We have cameras at our disposal at I left PepNet, went right over to our rental property, took my iPad out and took pictures because I couldn't find my pictures. I'm getting ready to rent a property. I couldn't find my pictures on my old CDs. And so it was so quick. But we do that, and we've got, you got 1 million young families that are taking pictures all the time. We've got these really high technical cameras, and you and I have talked about this before.
Very smart cameras and people that don't quite know how to make
That's
good use
me.
of them.
I am that market. I spent $400, $500, which isn't a lot for a camera when you talk about the big Canons and all that. But I want to be able to fully use all of those functions, and I can't make through those little manual books they sent, I'm like, what? And set your this. So I am a prime candidate for that. I just think your target market is fabulous because...
Okay. What colors would appeal to you?
Well, I think the whole nature thing because, number one, we're in a beautiful area, and number two, most young families, and I'm not a young family, but most young families are taking lots of pictures of their children out on different events, sporting events, different things. So I think the whole Colorado outdoor feel of life, whether it's winter or summer or spring or fall, would be fabulous color story for your branding. That would appeal. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
narrowing things down.
Mm-hmm.
I like personally blue. Blue it's a calming color, tends to denote intelligence. Another thing that you might consider is using blue in one business and green in the other.
Mm-hmm.
Or the colors of the Front Range. When you just look out the window.
Oh, it's been so
You
crazy.
got-
And I've
There you
nearly
go,
driven
yeah.
off of the
And then you
street.
like architecture also, photography, if I recall. And so you could almost have a picture done where you have a building off to the left that's unique architecture that you like, but then the Front Range also. Because then it sort of brings in both.
Okay. I hear where you're coming from. It sounds like you're talking about the shooting aspect.
No, I'm talking about if you wanted a mug and you want to have obedience training, the colors are there, but it also symbolizes what you're into, both nature and architecture.
Okay.
I like that too. And then of course there's also the take, and there's so many colors I don't really know off the top of my head the ideas associated with each one. Although I bet you if you Googled color theory, you could probably come up with some pretty quick and easy tips on it. But another consideration is silver and black. That's what I think of when I think of the
Raiders.
Yeah, I was about to say that's terrible. Raiders. Yeah.
Not Raiders.
But when I think of an old-time camera, I think silver and black.
Uh-huh.
So that's a mental image that I have. Because when I was talking with Bruce, I remember I was saying, oh, well, talking about a dark room, and then I realized I was like, wait a minute, they probably don't even use dark rooms anymore. So.
But I would think that a photography branding and that target market and what you're doing needs to be really developed so people understand that you're moving towards mentoring, instructing, rather than being another photographer out there, So I would imagine, to pull in the ideas of classroom education, whatever, that really, because you're looking for this market to turn its head to you, and say, this isn't just a photographer. This isn't for portraits for my kids. This is to help me. And it's a niche or niche.
Another thing, if you like the black idea, is and your thing's obedience training, you could have a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Like a chalkboard on a black
that.
cup.
Yeah.
And
with
then
an apple next to it. For the teacher.
Yeah.
That whole education kind of thing.
And
what he's done.
I like that. And keep in mind that you're getting these. When we're doing these brands, they usually have these strong colors, very strong, distinct, clear colors. And right there, green, black, red. I mean, here we've got black, red, white. I do green, black. The thing about black is it allows you to pretty much match any color. So that's definitely beneficial. But I like the direction that's going for sure. And of course, you've got the green and brown of the mountains that you were just discussing. But I would definitely think that you could certainly do a type of personal brand for each of your businesses, though, and do one card, a certain way. Because I'm also a big believer in multiple business cards. I have, I'm getting up to 4. I'm having actually Vicki do some work for me, but I'm getting up to 4 business cards.
I was wondering about that because it seems like you could send different people react differently to different images, do the same business, but have a little different cards at different settings, so to speak.
It's like a carpet cleaning. Women could care less about the machine. I mean, if I said I have a 49 horsepower Nissan fuel-injected engine that pushes a blower, a direct connected blower, 860 cubic feet a minute, it means nothing.
I know the
but the guys all want to hear that. How powerful is it? How much will it suck out? What the women want to know is it really going to clean deep, and how long is it going to take to dry? And can my kids lay on this carpet?
Yeah.
Hence,
Exactly.
healthy carpet.
I like that thing, using that word healthy.
Me too. That's great.
Yeah, definitely.
That goes beyond clean. That hits at an emotional level.
Yes, and that's what we're talking about, getting people at an emotional level. That's what this is all about, getting people to connect with you as a person.
Well, like the 7 shots, every one affects your mind differently. Looking up, looking down, funny, informative. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just chilling or whatever that was.
Yeah.
I'm relaxing here.
Yeah.
And
those, it's very specific. The tilt of my jawline, and much of this Bruce knows, but there's so much that goes into specifically how I was posed, shifting my arms properly, twisting, making sure certain pieces of jewelry were apparent. I mean, there's all very specific things that went into those. And now, for you, you don't have to go that far into it, but certainly, at the very least, I operated for years with I had a friend take a picture of me on my wall, and then I photoshopped it myself, and it was good enough. And I ran with it, and it was on my business cards for years until I had professional photography done. Mm-hmm. So it's not something that you can't get started with right away. I wouldn't let that stop you. Although I'd highly recommend, of course, going to Bruce to get your photography done.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to go to your one.
We'll take care of remuneration later.
So there's a lot you can do with that. And with business cards, what we're really talking about here, too, is tailoring your message to the market. And so I have multiple business cards, and this is how you make things fun. So I'm going to have 4 business cards total, and then each week I'm going to put a different business card in the business card book, so that each week there's a new card facing people in week after week for an entire month. And I'm thinking that's going to help improve my marketing. At the very least, it's going to make it more fun for people. And maybe a different way that I'm approaching my message might trigger something in somebody else differently. So I have a sales letter card that's that big. I have my standard vertical card. I have a standard sideways card. I've got my money card. And all of these are designed to elicit different reactions of people. There's a time when I had cards for restaurant marketing expert. There were times I had cards for automotive repair marketing expert when I was approaching those markets. So,
like a resume.
Exactly.
And it cannot be boring. Somebody said that earlier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you see the same thing over and over, you get numb to it. Like and so you have different cards. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's called ad fatigue. It actually does exist. So your cards, your advertisements, they fatigue over time. They perform less well as people see them. So if you don't tweak and adjust them over time, then you're leaving money behind on the table, essentially.
You'll see big stores. They'll move shelves around.
Right.
They'll reorganize a store every few years, and then it becomes interesting again to go
Looks
through
like
that.
a new store when you walk in.
Huh?
Ticks me off.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the ironic thing about that, too, is I was doing some grocery shopping last night at Walmart, and I was in town later. I normally shop at the Falcon Walmart. I was in town, and I went to the Palmer Park Walmart. I got so frustrated and angry so fast because I couldn't find anything. The whole store is completely rearranged differently. I got the bare minimum of items I could and then stopped by Walmart on my way back home.
Wow.
Isn't that funny?
Oh.
Yeah, and when you
Creatures of habit.
exactly when you think about it, that Walmart, whatever it is about that Walmart, it might be the way it's set up. Well, I can tell you, it's the way it's set up. It's the people that are there. It's more homey to me because it's near my home. It's full of people I know, people that I've run into,
Yeah.
you know. So what about that Walmart appeals to me so much more than that other Walmart? And so that's something to think about. You know, the whole experience of dealing with your personal brand.
Also, if you're using cards and putting them in those card holders, they're mostly horizontal or landscape. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a vertical card, people won't be able to see it. And so you'd have to have more than one card if those are out.
Yep.
I was at a place and I saw my cards in there that somebody had placed in. And they're all covered with dust. And I thought, and they've been, and I've seen them there before. They've been in the same spot, in the same place, untouched, unmoved. And so I just moved it to another little section on there. I just changed it just 1 foot, but who knows?
Yeah, well, it really is. You'd be amazed when you're dealing with marketing and things of this nature how the littlest, teeniest changes make the biggest differences. For instance, I can tell you in a marketing piece that I read about, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's something like I can't remember what's the term? Well, it's something like, put more peanut butter in your life. And they changed it to say, puts more peanut butter in your life. And the simple change of the S changed it from put, meaning I have to do work, to puts, meaning I don't have to do anything. Huge response increase.
Yeah, wow. Crazy.
And so think about that. And then also, for instance, personal branding and QR codes. The lady that Sue Bittner has been talking about in the group,
Rhonda.
yeah, she does some really interesting work, and you can do some real fun personal branding with that.
What's a QR code like?
Quick response code. It's
This little
that little cube you saw on the card that I passed around. And all it is
Scan
essentially...
it with your iPhone or your smartphone, and it pops it right in. We have QR codes in our send-out cards where you can generate a whole video of yourself saying thank you. Goes in the card. They can either put the URL into the computer, or they can snap it with their iPhone. And then, like, I got a birthday card with a QR code. Snapped it in. It was Paul McCartney singing "Happy Birthday" to me from Red Square. It was pretty cool. YouTube video.
So, it allows you to go quickly to different online resources with your phone. You can have
You could
it
do
call
text.
people.
You could do a
Yeah.
text one that says our specials this week. Put it on your Facebook.
Yeah. Let's see. It's really great. And for instance, we didn't get to use it on that lift note for the Gazette that Lisa was doing. I designed a QR code that fades, so it's just like the black one you saw over there, except it fades from black to red and has a heart in the center of it.
That's so cool.
And once again, the
And
company colors tying it into the heart.
Yeah.
Consistent, cohesive marketing message.
Yeah, I don't get. It's like Harry Potter. I don't get how they work. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want to generate QR codes, just type in QR code generator into Google. You'll find a dozen of them. You can create them for free.
Yeah.
And then you have to get Red Laser or some similar app on your phone to actually read it.
Well, I did it on the back of my cards, and I've had all of one person ever scan it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not. It's on the back of a card. I don't see it as that effective.
Well, it depends on how you use them. Because here's the thing: people are overusing it in a horrible way. They're overusing it to send you to their website. I'm sorry, but that is a total waste. I can type in your web address. I can remember your web address. The biggest mistake you can do with a QR code is send them to your web address. Now, if you change that and send them to a free offer or something like a free carpet cleaning or a free card trial, free equipment audit, free seminar session with Bruce, free sample of your oil. I mean, give them something.
That's right.
And
Give
tell them
value.
that.
I'll tell you the way one of my clients use it. He's a concrete contractor, Ray Beresford. I think you know that person, Platinum Fancy. And he goes out and meets with a bid for a nice job. He comes home and thanks them for the bid in the card. It's already set up as a campaign card. It has his video in it, sitting at his desk like this, saying, "Thank you so much. It was great meeting you. Look forward to getting that job started for you." So when they get the card and open it up and scan it or plug it into the thing, there'll be a little message there that says you can, I forget exactly how he words it, but you can pull little messages in that say, "This is a video card, this is what you do with it," And he has no competition. He's not on the web. They're not on the web looking at different contractors. He is right there in front of them talking to them again. It's a personal touch is the way he uses it.
Yeah, I like that.
A personal thank
I like
you.
that.
Not just a card, but even more than a card.
Yeah, appreciation so much.
It
Saying
is.
thank you nowadays, nobody
Yeah.
says thank you.
Yeah. He's got brownies on his punch list. So everything he does for a job, brownies are there. So he sends brownies after the job and all of that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Food's an excellent gift as well. Psychologically, you feed
Yeah.
somebody, you take care of them.
Yeah.
It's an excellent gift. And so QR codes, you can use them for personal branding as well and really do some fun stuff. I only found this out recently from Vicki Wallace, that you can do them in any color as long as it stands out from a background. It's distinct. So you can't do, for instance, dark purple on black. That won't work.
Right. It just has to read it that way, huh? It has
Yeah.
to just pull it off of the...
I've found that you cannot do reverse. White on black won't get read. At least
Really?
not by my phone.
Oh, that's
Interesting. I've never tried that.
Yeah, me
I have.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, Sue Bittner says she can even laser them. And then I thought, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, there's just that lady. She really was doing some really cool stuff. Like she had 2 QR codes, and then the person's picture like a cube,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's how
Mimi's
QR
got
codes.
a fabulous card that Rhonda did for her. And she's standing above it in one of the poses you're talking about. And then there's the QR code in a 3D with her colors. It's like a cube. And then it says, check out my specials. And so people want to see what her specials are. And so they scan it for the special.
Yeah, and so a large part of the marketing that I do too is you want to give people very clear, specific instructions. So I also tell them, scan this code with red mark or red laser so you can, get free offer. So I always put that on there because, people don't know what they are necessarily all the time. And even if they do, if you're telling them I'm sending you to a free offer, not just to my website, because for me, I don't like using my phone to go on websites. It's teeny screen. My monitor at home is 32 inches, okay?
Yeah,
So going down to my phone is just not going to work for me.
Right.
So someone offers to send me, or someone gives me a QR code that has no instructions and no message on it, I'm going to assume they're sending me to their website, and I have no
Yeah.
interest in that.
I know. And it's funny how quickly that mindset goes within us because we'll walk into, stores or whatever, and you'll see the QR codes, and I'll think, whatever.
Yeah.
Unless there's some reason to prompt me to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say what that is that falls under the heading of something I call marketing incest, meaning, everybody looks at what everybody else in their industry is doing. They're all in a circle looking inward, and then their marketing slowly gets worse and worse. And so we've got this proliferation of bad QR codes that are making it harder for people that are using them creatively to, market with them.
Right.
But at the same time, those that are using it creatively, the first time I saw that QR code, I was like, wow, I want to scan that.
Cool, I know.
And that's what we're talking about.
Suppose you've already got a QR code. Can it be somehow reprogrammed to go somewhere other than your website? Guilty.
Yeah. Yeah.
A new. You'd have to get a new.
You have to get a new
Create
code.
Because those boxes it's a digital language.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially a barcode.
Yeah.
You know, but I
You need to talk to Rhonda, because Rhonda said she can set up an ongoing changes without doing that.
Oh, really?
Unless she's just doing new QR codes for you. But I said, how do you do that? And she goes, you can't do it, but I can. So that's probably part of her
I want to sit down
product,
and talk
you
to
know.
her.
She was very interesting. She's apparently going to be there next week.
okay. I was wondering, who is this Rhonda?
She's a friend of Sue Bittner's, or Sue founder, and I met with her this week as well. And she was supposed to be there today, but she had some minor surgery, so she'll be there next week.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to sitting down and talking with her, because that's, once again, I really see it as these different tools working together. So having a personally branded QR code is just another toolkit, that tool in the toolbox. And so it's really something to consider, because that's why I have all the pictures. And I also want to send these around. This is another great resource. And these essentially are what are called sign generators. If you type in sign generator to Google, you'll come up with hundreds of them.
Wow, what a cool idea that is.
Yeah, and so all these are just fun images with sayings that I created about my business. And you can do the same thing too. Certainly your tagline, heating and air conditioning with a heart. I mean, you could put those, you could put furnace world at the top in the notice or whatever. And so they're all generated, automated. All you have to do is go to the website, type in what you want it to say, pick your symbols, pick what you want your warning to be. But all this stuff, it's just all specifically tied to ideas about my marketing. So, you know, I talk about don't waste money on image branding, and price cutting is a self-inflicted wound. You know, these are sayings, and so you want to develop a language about your business. Sayings. Many of the sayings I have, good enough is good enough. You know, and I say that when I want people to, you know, not focus on, you know, missing the forest for the trees and all of that. And so you want to develop a language and ethos about your business that people can engage in. And that's just part of it. So those go all over. You'll see some of those on my free reports. Every one of my free reports has those. Anytime I make an offer to somebody, it has those on it. I'm going to be posting those on my website. They're just really useful things. And then to the right of Bruce there, you'll see some more fun things, you know, where I put my name in the newspaper from the Denver Post, or I spelled AfroMarketing in soup. Fortune cookies with wise sayings on it. These are the type of things that, once again, they're just tools. Also on that disc, there's a video that teaches you how to go to a website to create your own online signature. And that's what I love about doing this too, about mentoring, is that it helps me too. I grow out of this because I didn't know anything about that. And then I found it, I was like, wow. And so I went and made myself 3 or 4 custom signatures that give a certain feeling. So I made one that's ugly. And I made one that looks like I'm mad. And I made one that's just kind of lazy. And you can just make these templated online signatures. You can change the tilt on them, change the font, change whatever they say.
Your signature?
My signature.
Okay.
And so all you do is you type
Those
in.
are so powerful because you can pull them into anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make it as you can make it as your signature for your email. I think signatures are very important. I write sales letters a great deal, so I use on my online sales letters a signature image. And so you can also portray certain feelings, emotions, thoughts, connections about your business through your signature as well. And that information's on like a 3 or 4 minute video on that DVD. So those are some cool tools you can use just to set yourself apart from people.
And that sign generator.
You just type sign generator into Google. There's several, 500 of them, something that'll pop up when you do that.
What is image branding madness? So tell me about that.
Well, image branding is the opposite of what I do.
Uh-huh.
I'm in direct response marketing, which focuses on getting a measurable return on investment right now with your dollars. Mm-hmm. Image branding is more like getting your name out there.
Oh, I see.
And so for me, it's
So
important.
it's very external, not from the inside out kind of thing, from that personal part of.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, when you think about it, that's what these image branding companies are making mistakes. If they're on Facebook and they have their logo, for instance, as the image for their company, bad idea.
Yeah.
People connect with faces. So on Facebook, you never want to use your logo as your picture. Always, always personal. Same thing with your business card. Now, admittedly, I'm guilty, and my dollar bill business cards do not have my picture on it, but there just was no room to fit my picture on them, especially given the way the edges and die cut the card is. But that is the only card that I've made in the last 7 years that doesn't have my picture on it. So that's a huge thing, your picture on your business card. And preferably standing in one of those poses that I showed you, not just a straight headshot. But a headshot's better than nothing, by far. So those are some of the...
Can I get an opinion on that, please? You can't really see my face, but think about it, what I do. I don't know.
I like it. It's definitely draws you and makes you wonder, what's going on. I like your instructor bio at top, because this is, and once again, this is about trying to connect with people. You're telling them about yourself. The picture, I would prefer one that was, well, for a brochure, pictures are pictures on brochures. It's different than, say, a business card per se. But one of my very favorite tactics would be, if you imagine yourself standing right here in whatever visual, however you create, because when you create your pictures, you want to create a very specific visual look. So your dress is a part of it. But imagine if you're standing here smiling and then instead had this information running down the side. I think that would be more impactful if you had like a full-size picture of you or something there.
Okay.
Something to think about.
You're thinking more face, less environment?
Yeah. Because, I can't make out your face. It's good to have your picture there and all of that. And I like that the environment, it makes you wonder what's going on here, Like, where is that at? Sand dunes, was that? Yeah. And see someone from Colorado like me, I'm like, oh, that's the sand dunes. I've been to the sand dunes. So I think that there's definitely...
It could be Death Valley.
Yeah.
Except for the winter coat.
Yeah, no doubt.
But there's you've got on the front of the brochure obedience training for your camera. So if that picture was you with a chalk stick, like we were talking about earlier, a photograph of you standing and teaching, really conveying what you do, that'd be fun. That'd be a fun, you could have glasses on, you could look like a teacher and do a...
I like where you're going with that.
Because
I've
when you turn it around, come and see me for classes or whatever. Affordable classes, affordable training.
Yeah, and I've got one of those big old school chalkboards at my home, and I could totally see Bruce standing in some attire that's congruent, because what a lot of we talk about here is image congruency. Mm-hmm. Essentially, how do you maintain a consistent image across all platforms? And so I could see you there, Bruce, with an old-time chalkboard, maybe with obedience training for your camera written on the chalkboard,
yeah.
With you with a long stick pointing towards
yeah.
it, with some kind of facial expression
yeah.
that denotes obedience, or you know what I'm getting at, kind of there,
or a camera on a stool, like an old Hasselblad or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I
See,
can borrow one.
and then that could be
It wouldn't matter.
that could be the entire one side of your business card right there.
Yeah.
And then the back side, flip side, and always want to use both sides, can have the information that you need on there.
Because I think the number one message that you want to send is so people will not miss what you do. If I saw that, I just saw the picture from afar, but once again, it was the environment. I'm thinking photography, I'm thinking nature. You really want to pull that customer in to do what? You have to answer that question, you know?
Learn how to whip their camera.
That's
into
right,
shape.
whip their camera into shape. Do
Yeah.
effective photography for
And
themselves.
you guys are suggesting here's what I'm hearing, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to hog the conversation, but
Don't apologize. We're all learning.
What I hear you guys talking about is something that's more fun, a little bit on the whimsical side.
Right, quirky.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And here I am wearing my serious clothes today, blue, dressed. I am, part of my nature
is to be more serious, more direct. I want to be taken seriously. At my age, I see it slipping away, seriously. But you guys are saying, listen up, Bruce.
Absolutely.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Matter of fact, when you started talking about dress, what I saw in that photograph that we're talking about for the back of your brochure is a bow tie and, a full school headmaster kind of deal where you are really conveying something fun. Because, and I see your market as young mothers and young families who can't really afford to have huge pictures taken every year of their children, other than their school photos and things like that, but really
so they want to learn how to do it themselves.
They want to learn how to make great photography, and that's word of mouth. That kind of word of mouth you can't beat from family to family, and they're sharing pictures of what they've done. They've posted something like this up on their wall of their family and said, "I took it, and this is the guy who taught me." Oh my gosh!
And see, these are all pictures from my friends who had them stretched on canvas. Mike Novacek took that one at the Black Canyon.
It's beautiful.
It's like a slab of meat. No, it's beautiful, seriously.
But that's, it's really getting, I'm going to just say this from a consumer, okay? If I got that brochure that said obedience training for your camera and I turned around and saw that picture, I'm not kidding you, my first thought would be, he probably just wants to get my photography business. And I'm not really in the market right now for photography. So you really want to convey exactly what you're offering and create that whole market for that individual.
Let me throw something out here. Okay. Actually, in about 2 weeks, you'll see it. I've got a 30-second commercial, but you guys are getting kind of you got to visualize this in your mind, kind of a sneak preview. Okay, I've got this black photo vest. It's got obedience training for your camera on there, and a black kind of a sports car hat, a gray pigtailed wig kind of a thing that goes halfway down my back, jeans, sneakers, that kind of a thing.
Backpack, camera.
And, it's kind of the stereotyped artsy photographer look kind of a deal.
Manitou.
There you go.
Does that fit in with what you're talking about here? As
long as
being
you're,
as more
You're
fun?
comfortable with.
As the learner, not as the teacher.
Yeah, actually.
As the
very
learner,
good.
but not the teacher.
Very good.
You want to teach that guy how
That's
to
right.
use that camera.
That's right. You
Okay.
want to grab that person who's the nature hiker, who's the artsy fartsy, and teach him how to do photography. So I would really go after the schoolmaster kind of fun thing. I would
Okay,
Google
so you're
those
sticking
images.
with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw out my a foil for you to bounce off of. You're sticking with the headmaster, schoolmaster.
I would
look.
Google images of headmaster,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
teachers or
Poke
whatever,
around.
and get a feel because I think you've got a fabulous.
See, that could be used.
You've got a huge.
What you
target
just said
market.
could be used on a card too, as like, have holding the camera upside down or something like. I don't know heads or tails of this thing.
Yeah.
Good
And
point.
you could
props and
look
stuff.
like that.
Yeah.
So.
You can use your backpacking thing as another card. Your backpacking and your hair and all that.
Yeah.
As another image.
I have a question for you. Do you cover? And I don't even know if this is, a part of a market piece, but would you in a class cover use of camera phones and iPhones when people are out and about? Are you looking at?
It's not something that's designed into the program, but if someone came to me and said, Bruce, can you coach me? Then yeah, I can custom design a program. And actually, someone that you and I both know, I was looking forward to teaching a classroom of people, soccer moms,
Yeah, that's a huge.
and custom designing a program for them.
Then you almost have to get into the camera phone, because so many of them, they'll shoot video, they shoot pictures of their kids, and they post them on Facebook or Instagram
or at least a point and shoot kind of a camera.
yeah.
It could even
Yeah,
be
see,
it could even be an introduction, because there's maybe not a lot to it. There could be an introduction that is a free introductory class, and then at that class you pull out the Lumex or the higher end point and shoot, and say, I also offer a class on this where you can do these things, and that would be a great marketing tool.
Where you
to draw
take them
into that
from
next
their
thing.
smartphone to
Exactly.
a real camera.
That's right.
My son is a fashion model in New York City, and his wife is too. And I'll take pictures. I see stuff all the time, and he'll go, "Dad, I wish you could send this to me in a higher resolution."
Yeah.
And he said, "I send it out to my art friends, and they like it, but they can't use it."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "If you could take these pictures with a better camera, you could make money."
Yeah.
But
That's an excellent idea. Excellent idea.
Because there, I'm guessing there's not that much to teach about this, but you offer a free iPad, iPhone class, and use that as a marketing place also for your next step.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about masterminds too, because I had that idea occur to me as you were discussing, but then y'all discussed out the idea fully on your own without me even saying a word about it. So that is great. We are running close on time now, and normally I would love to stay and chat as long as people were available, but I do have another speaking engagement after this. I did want to point out one thing and say, though, that I forgot to mention when I was talking about dress, is that, let me stand up for you real quick. You'll notice that the suit that I'm wearing is actually different than most suits that you'll see. It's what's called a classic English-style 4-button suit. It has 4 buttons. The cut of it looks completely different than most anything you see. Most people don't know why. Because the 4th button, this part is much closer. I won't wear anything but a 4-button suit. I haven't worn a 3-button suit since I graduated college the first time. So, point being that a 4-button classic English-style suit is the only suit I'll wear, and it looks different than almost every other suit out there because people don't wear them. So that's also a very specific thing. And so when you were talking about the professor-type clothing, very little details could make huge differences. And most of the time, people compliment me on how I look in my suit, but don't really know why I look different.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm wearing a 4-button suit instead of a 3. So just use that as an example to really, think critically about very small aspects. And we've been talking about some great ideas here as well. But it really is very teeny things that come together to make an overall picture of your personal brand.
I don't know. I've enjoyed this because it brings up a lot of ideas, visual ideas, to accentuate what we're all trying to do, from color to poses to multiple images, and then getting together with the group to maybe brainstorm your ideas.
Yeah.
Because I may think I got the end all idea, and then you might say, well, that's good, but what about this? So I think, like Sandy and I have talked about Hill Petroleum. What exactly does she do? How can we help her?
Right.
And so the 30-second commercial is sort of a verbal branding that we
Exactly.
do every week. And
And I'm actually, because everybody has their own different ways of branding themselves within the group, and eventually I'm going to drag in the big hair, big ideas, and how we finish each other's taglines at times. I'm thinking about drawing that into it as well, and there's just so many different ways that you can differentiate yourself. So really put your, creative juices to work on, and I'm sure you'll be able to come up with something that's effective.
So let me ask you a real quick question about the mentoring program overall. You had the silver, which was the first entry level, and I had missed that, unfortunately. And then, and now this. And is this going to be ongoing? Are we building on this?
this is because Michael is so good at this.
Yeah.
That's where this idea of the platinum, I believe, came up. I mean, he's beyond platinum.
Right.
And so as long as we have Michael in the fold, we'll continue something. I mean, somebody with an expertise in something we could do something like this.
Well, I was thinking, because it was like a mastermind program, with him facilitating, which is ideal. Is that going to be an ongoing format that maybe once a month we're going to do? Or?
Well, Mark and I need to sit down. Our previous mentor coordinator was Dennis Grubb, and he left the group fairly recently. And so we're going to sit down and talk about Mark's vision for the future of the mentoring program.
Because I just stepped into it.
Sure.
And just have tried to perpetuate, but there hasn't been many takers, really, as far as the beginning program, as for new people. So
we've had good responses to all the goals we've held. We've held 3 or 4 of them now, and so it is designed to be a series that we go through.
Yeah.
The final shape and form of it is just yet to be decided.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to suggest that a mastermind group for PepNet would be great every once a month or something.
Oh, yeah.
Could facilitate.
I would love to do something like that.
or even quarterly, to do something like that. I mean, every month is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Along those lines, and with what you showed us with these 7 poses, I could set up on a quarterly basis to do that for whoever wanted to do that.
Well, I think you should put definitely a package together based on this idea, and maybe.
No, I think you should.
Yeah.
You could make money. I mean, if you need a location, you probably could use this.
See, I'm looking at this as a good location.
And
It's-
and just say if you come in, we have a 3-hour block. Schedule it in. You charge however much you're supposed to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. I mean, I'd like the room to get used. So.
And also, just to touch on what you mentioned, I'm certainly not going anywhere as far as PepNet's concerned, but the program that we've put together, is it's got components where someone that comes in behind me, they may not be able to teach it in the same way that I do, but this whole program is structured so that someone that is willing to be a mentor and fits the conditions of being a good mentor could carry on the program without me. The way that I teach this program would not be the way it would be taught by someone else coming in after me, because I have it set up as modules, essentially, where people can talk about what they feel comfortable talking about and don't have to get into the more high-level stuff that I might necessarily get into.
You better not go anywhere.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that.
Well, this was great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Michael. It was great.
My pleasure, my pleasure. We didn't get into any time management, but that's fine. I think that this topic is much more fun, honestly.
Oh, it was great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Forgot about the time.
Good seeing you
That
all.
would
Have a
been
great
good
day.
too.
Okay, Mark.
Have a great
See
week.
you later.
You too.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.